with step 2B, except since you have already interfaced your collar, you have already done step 2B. So congratulations to you, and we're gonna move on to step 2C. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your two collar pieces, 1 and 2, one is interfaced, one is not, and you are pinning them together, right sides together. So the pretty sides face each other, and the interface side and the back of your fabric are on the outside. You are going to pin them together, leaving the unnotched edge, so the curved edge, you are not going to pin that and you are not going to sew that. And if you skipped the notching step, this is the time to go back and put your notches on, or you will be very, very sad when you're applying your collar. So, I've pinned my collar pieces together, and I'm going to take them over to the machine, and I'm going to stitch again, turning it off of the tight stitching I had for my stay stitch. I'm going to stitch back to my 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I'm going to stitch to the end of my corner. I'm going to do a tiny little back stitch at each corner, and that is going to help my corner look clean and crisp when I turn it out. And I'm not going to sew over my pins. A bad habit I have, so don't start this habit. And again, I'm going to get to that 5/8 of an inch, back stitch a little bit, pivot, back stitch a little bit more, and back stitch at the end. Now, if I tried to turn my collar right side out now, it's going to have a ton of bulk on the seam allowance. So see, that doesn't look pretty at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to grade our collar seam allowance down. We're going to take our fabric scissors. We're going to clip corners just like we did on the pocket. And then we're going to trim each layer of seam allowance down to a different length. So we'll cut this one down to about 1/8 of an inch, and that's totally something that you can eyeball. 1 inch. I'm not going to make you watch me cut the whole seam allowance. And then we'll take this one and we'll trim it down to about 1/4 of an inch. Then, when you turn it right side out, it'll look super pretty.